Welcome to all of you out there, astrology friends. Welcome to a new video. And this video is about the full moon that is going to happen around and about the 24th of February. And we're going to have a full moon in Virgo. So it's going to be the moon at 5 degrees of Virgo opposing the sun at 5 degrees of Pisces. So around this time of the year, it's always a full moon in Virgo. And what does it mean? Let's have a look at, in general, what it means, this full moon. What is the energy? How do we have to make an interpretation of that energy? And then very quickly, for all the 12 signs, we're going to have a look at what is the area of life where that energy is going to be highlighted. So a full moon in Virgo. In general, first of all, a full moon is some sort of things come to light, things are being seen. It's about becoming more conscious, if you like, and something comes to fruition. So that is what full moons are all about. And we all are going to have that realization. It's going to be a Virgo realization. Yes, the sun is in Pisces and the moon is in that earth sign of Virgo at the very beginning. When we have full moons in Virgo, it shows a good time. Again, it's energy. You don't have to do anything with it. I mean, we decide what we're doing with it. But it's an energy of cleaning up. It's an energy of things becoming clear. It's an energy of practicalities, efficiency, routines, work, health. What else? I've written down so many things. Fixing problems, purification time. The devil is in the detail. Get your ducks in a row. It's all time for that. It's all time for practical stuff, administration. It's all time for very, you could say, down-to-earth stuff, but also being of service for someone or something. It's also a humbling time. It's a very humbling time. Virgo is a sign that is associated with being humble and not being small. Don't get me wrong here, not being small or letting people walk all over you. No. It's being humble. It's also being quite rational, because this moon is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is communication, it's the mind, it's the thinking processes. So you could say, depending on the house, where the area of life where that moon is falling, it could be for you literally cleaning up of your closets. For others, it's a cleaning up of your desk, the work. And for others, it's, clarity when it comes to relationships. And so that's what a full moon in Virgo is all about. There could be also something becoming clear that relates to a project that you have done, and so on and so on. So in itself, I know that a lot of people think Virgo is a very boring sign. I think it's not. It's a very witty sign. It can be very witty at the same time, but it can, it's quite disciplined, and it can make things, it can fix things and make it done, right? And it's on the list, and you kind of check it all off, and you start in the morning, and at the end of the day, you did all those things, and that gives you a huge amount of satisfaction, and it gives you a sense of identity. That's Virgo energy. Now, what are the rest of the planets doing, of course, because that is very important. And yes, we're coming from this very Uranian new moon on the 9th to 10th of February. There was like you could say a bit the opposite energy of expect the unexpected. So probably all of us have in some area of our life been having a little bit of a wake-up call somewhere. But now with this full moon, it's more like, yes, this is what it is. This is reality. Let's, if there are some problems, let's fix it. And it's a good energy to fix problems. Absolutely. So use it for that, right? But what else is going on? Well, what else is going on with this full moon? It's a very serious full moon. And why is that? Because Saturn is involved here very strongly. So Saturn, I said that the moon is at 5 degrees of Virgo, the sun is at 5 degrees of Pisces, and next to the sun in Pisces is Saturn, which is at about 9 degrees of Pisces. So sun conjunct Saturn. Saturn opposing the moon, or the moon is going to oppose the sun conjunct Saturn. And even to add up to that, Mercury, the ruler of the full moon, is in the opposite sign of Pisces. It's where it's not really liking it to be, but it's not necessarily a bad thing, Mercury and Pisces. It can create poetry and people who are very visual. But this Mercury in Pisces is also with Saturn. So at how many degrees? At 2 degrees of Pisces. So you're seeing like 3 planets in Pisces, which is Mercury, the sun, Saturn, and it all opposes the moon. So this is a huge emphasis, of course, on the axis of Pisces and Virgo, which is earth and water, which means this is energy of caring. It's energy of caring. I always see people who've got this in their natal chart. Either they work in the medical field, or there are some kind of, therapists or nurses. They do something with healing. It's a lot of healing quality that we have here. A lot with healing energy. And with Saturn there, so it makes it a very Saturnal full moon. And what is Saturn? It's seriousness. And definitely with the 2 lights of the sun and the moon, it's seriousness. It's like, hey, down to earth. It's super humbling, you could say. A full moon in Virgo is already humbling, but it's super humbling. It's like if you would say, oh, but Veerle, Pisces is very water and it's very emotional. It is, absolutely. But with Saturn there, it dims it. It's like the emotions are running high, but Saturn is like maturing them. And it's like, calm down. Like in the song, right? Calm down, calm down. Oh yeah. Oh yes, that's it. That is it. It's like high emotions, but calm down. Is that good or bad? No, not at all. It means that it has to be like that. So it's a very kind of full moon. And it's supposed to be like that. So it's better to like it like that and to embrace it than to fight it. So what it means, that Saturnal touch, you could say, is that reality is gonna show itself. For sure. I mean, it's already Earth, right? The moon in Virgo, but Saturn is very earthly planet, you could say. And it's about seriousness. It's also coolness and coldness and but I see other stuff happening as well. So we have a little bit of a break even of that energy. But if it only would be that, it would be really, really cool. And it would be really, really almost harsh. You know, when someone has a Sun-Saturn conjunction, and especially a man, it's a harsh aspect. Why? Because it's high standards. And it's like, hey, you want to show yourself? It's like you did like 10 exams, and 9 of the 10 exams was you had like 9 out of 10, you know, the percentage, 9 to 10, your points. And then another object or subject was 9.5 out of 10. And then you have one subject that was a 5 out of 10. And Saturn, you know, is like just, you know, picking on that 5 on 10. It just doesn't see all the other 9 subjects anymore where you did well. You know, that's the high standard of Saturn. It's like, And of course, sometimes we need that. Sometimes, especially if we want to grow and if we want to become better. But sometimes it's like, it's too much and enough is enough. So it depends on the situation. It also depends on your character. If you are already someone who's putting high standards and who is, you can deal with this energy quite well. You're saying, oh, there we go again. But for someone who is not used to that, this can come as something very critical. You know, someone who's criticizing and someone who's saying, nah, you should have done better. And that Saturnal kind of energy. No one likes that. But we know that if we listen to it, which is this full moon, if we listen to it, we can better our lives and we can improve our lives. And definitely on this practical, efficient work, a healthy kind of level. So that's what's happening, this Saturnal energy. On another level, Saturn is also a very maturing energy. You know, when people have Moon Saturn in their chart, they can crave, that can be very needy because in their childhood, they had to work hard to fulfill their needs, which is not how it's supposed to be, of course, but it is what it is. And now with Moon Saturn, people can feel very isolated and emotionally very lonely. On another level, people can get upgrades in maturity. And when they welcome it, they can grow very strongly in their, not being dependent on others and being dependent and trusting and loving the self. That's what a Moon Saturn cycle is all about. It's about, you've got to do it. You have to depend on you. Your best friend is you. And it's a lot of an introspective energy, Saturn, when we have Saturn so closely to the sun and the moon. So is it going to be happy? No, it's going to be serious. But is it going to be too serious? No. Luckily, we have the help of Jupiter. And why is that? Because Jupiter will be in Taurus, and Jupiter is going to trine the moon, which is very nice. It's like the opposite energy. It's like, hey, emotionally, you get this Saturn energy here of, hey, level up and mature and be a mature person. But at the same time, there is hope with this Jupiter trine to the moon and a sextile to the sun. So Jupiter is trining the Virgo energy, but it's also sextiling the Pisces energy, which means very nice flowy energy. So there's also flow here, which is good. It's like Saturn is crystallizing, it's the manifestor as well. So where a lot of us are going to see manifestations of things that we've been working hard on, on the axis of where the sun and the moon is falling in our chart. We're gonna see results. And it depends, of course, like the student, if he works hard a whole year, then yes, the chances will be bigger that student is gonna get better grades. But if that student has been just a whole year doing nothing and partying and whatnot, well, that's also Saturn comes with the result, and there you go, right? And so Saturn is a lot about reality, and but it shows where you're standing. Now, so for some, it will depend on what your situation was before that, how hard you've worked or didn't work on a certain subject or a certain area of your life. But it seems to me that at the same time, there's going to be a lot of hope. And that's good. At the same time, there's going to be that Jupiterian energy of there's hope. So for most of us, it's going to be a situation like, yeah, it is what it is. It's that's the result. There's no turning, but it's not about there's no turning back. That is a result, but I can work with it. With this trine to Jupiter, I feel emotionally secure to keep on working on something. That's a bit the resume of all this energy. Now, adding up to that, Venus and Mars will have, just the day before the full moon or around and about, Venus and Mars will have conjuncted with each other in Aquarius around 9 degrees, 7, 8, 9 degrees of Aquarius. And that energy also has an aspect with Jupiter in a square. So again, when it comes to our desire, Venus, Mars, when it comes to the things that we love, that we want to do, there is also a lot of enthusiasm, maybe even a little bit too much, you know, because a square tends to go to exaggerating a little bit. So I think when you look at the whole chart, it is a break-even situation. It is a situation of, look, this is it. That is the result of the weeks, the months that I did work on something, or I didn't work on something, or I did work on something, but in some way, this is it. This is it. I thought it was going to be more, but this is it now. But we have a lot of enthusiasm to proceed and to, don't forget that we, during this full moon, we're in the midst of a lot of Plutonian energy, or we just had a lot of Plutonian energy with Mercury crossing Pluto, Mars crossing Pluto, Venus crossing Pluto. So it has been quite all intense at the same time. So I think this full moon in Virgo is much needed. I think it's going to show us reality. I think it's also going to show us it is what it is, you know. But there's hope and there's stuff that we can do. And isn't that a good thing, right? Because if there's no hope anymore, I mean, then it's really like, yuck. And we have this sextile throughout the whole month of February. We have this sextile, which is a good energy between Jupiter and Saturn. So it's like the two planets. Saturn is like, meh, and Jupiter is saying, you know, Jupiter planet is the planet that if you've got 10 exams and you do 1 extremely good and 9 bad, Jupiter is one that says, hey, but you did 1 good. You see, you did 1 good, so you've proven that you can do it because you worked on that 1 exam and you made it well. You see? And that's the hope. And that's Jupiter. It is so optimistic that it gives you hope for those other 9 that you just screw up or whatever you did with it. But it gives you hope for the future. That's the situation. So all in all, not a bad situation. But it's with Saturn, it's not the moment to say like to guilt trip. We have to be aware of that. You know, when we have so much Saturn energy, and especially in Virgo, we have to watch out that we're not going to guilt tripping, either putting the guilt on others, you know, they did wrong, or putting the guilt on ourselves, you know, so that we undermine ourselves. That's really a pitfall of Saturn. So don't do that. Use your energy with the Jupiter energy to look at what is not working and to fix it, basically, and make that plan. Virgo, make a plan. Make a plan. You don't have to go over the top with doing lots of Excel sheets, which you could do with this Virgo full moon, but make a plan for the future. So, because this is a very wake-up call, but in a different way. You know, it's expected here. It's expected. With the Uranus, we didn't expect it. With Saturn here, we know. We know what's going on. We have to look in the mirror and say to ourselves, okay, yeah, this and that I have to do different. And off we go. And there's going to be a lot of optimism, like that is saying to our, and also an emotional support there that, hey, we can do it. It might be tough, and I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, but hey, I've got the courage to do so, and I've got this grounding energy around me with planning and doing things differently now, and off we go. And that's what this full moon is all about. So I think it's a nice mixture, this energy of how we are going to see that something is what it is. It's a lot about acceptance as well, of course, because with Saturn, we are forced almost to accept certain things. And so I think the only pitfall is the guilt that I was talking about, or saying to someone else that they are responsible, right? Oh, it didn't work out because he or she did. You can say that. You know, Virgo is a very critical sign. And 9 out of 10 times it's correct. It sees the flaws very easily, but no one's perfect. And that is important. And I think that we are going to feel that because of this beautiful Jupiter trine to the moon, that no one is perfect. And if we can't forgive others, it means that we're being very harsh to ourselves as well. And so it's important to see others as a mirror as well. As a mirror, and as not the pitfall of the Virgo is judging. So I'm not saying that you cannot be critical and because otherwise you cannot turn it around. That's not what I'm saying. But being resentful, there is energy here of resentment. And you have to be careful with it, because sometimes, yes, situations, people, they make us feel like, right? And that you resent them, like, ugh, I kind of hate what they are doing because it's so not me. But when we are doing that, we are not going to welcome the Jupiter energy. We are only going to feel the Saturnal energy, which is cold. And it's coldness in the heart. And when you have that coldness in the heart, I mean, not only the other person can't do anything with it, but you can't do anything with it because you're getting cold as well. And you won't feel anymore. You won't feel love anymore. You won't feel compassion anymore and empathy, which is actually the beauty of the sign of Pisces. They always understand. And by feeling. A Virgo too. A Virgo always understands, but it's more mental. And a Piscean as well. They always understand, but it's more in a feeling way. So, of course, we need to, if in relationships, people disappoint you and let you down and whatnot, we have to make our conclusions, of course. But it's no use to have that, feeling of resentment, because it's ultimately going to do you wrong, even more than them. And because you are living with that feeling, and that is negative energy for sure. But it's about purging this, and it's about being aware of it all. And it's also about optimism with this Jupiter trine to the moon. Like, look, we are all in here. We all make mistakes. And if people don't want to learn from their mistakes, it's their thing. But we have to do what we have to do. And we have to focus on ourselves. And we have to focus on the things that the purpose that we want to do in our lives as well. And this purpose has to do with being of service for something higher, which is this healing thing of Virgo. When someone with Virgo planets does something for someone else, but not in a doormat kind of way, but in a strong way, it's what they're supposed to do. So let us keep our cool and our boundaries. Talking about, of course, when we talk about Saturn, we talk about boundaries. Absolutely. Like, we are going to see where people cross our boundaries, or when we cross even other people's boundaries, we are going to bump into them. But at the same time, this is needed because boundaries in a 3D world are necessary, right? They are necessary to have structure, to be healthy, otherwise it's toxic, when people cross your boundaries over and over and over again. This is not going to work with this strong Saturnal energy. And with the Jupiter, it shows like, look, there's a fairness going on here. Jupiter is also a very, you could say, spiritual and very wise planet. And so it sees more towards the future and how it's going to see things in the bigger perspective. So you could be drawn into really the detail for sure because of this Virgo Saturn energy, and seeing too much the details so that you get lost there and you are over analyzing, overthinking and whatnot. But at the same time, Jupiter is going to give you the perspective and say, choose your battles right. You know, calm down. Calm down is just it's just this full moon in Virgo. It really is. It's the calm down energy, and see it for what it is. It's nothing more and it's nothing less. And go for growth. Don't go for coldness. Go for the growth and for the warmth and for reality in life. What a full moon. I really like it. I really like it. I think a lot of us will not like it, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to look at where the area of your life is, where there's going to be this energy. Okay, so I'm going to do this very quickly. For Aries, this is the work area. This is really your routines, your day-to-day life, your health area. This is happening in your 6th house, so something is highlighted here. It can be seriously because you're doing the 6th house is also routines. So you're doing not a good routine, for instance, and that mixes up or messes up your work. Whatever that routine is, whether it is drinking too much, eating too much, not exercising at all, staying up at night, every night until 3 o'clock in the morning, something is going to show itself like, look, what are you going to do here? So health and your day-to-day work are the biggest challenges here, and it's going to show up, but Jupiter is in your 2nd house. So be open for that Jupiterian energy in your 2nd house, which is your confidence, right? So when it comes to your confidence, dear Aries people, it's quite good. It's quite good. So listen to yourself, listen to your own values, and put your own values first. Taurians, this is in a fellow earth sign for you. Okay, so Taurus and Virgo, they go well together. It's earthly energy. So for you, it's a bit better, you could say. But still, it's this energy that I was talking about, and it's happening in your 5th house. So something becomes very clear or comes to the surface when it comes to children, if you have them, 5th house. When it comes to love, falling in love in general, your attitude towards love, something can become very, very clear. And also when it comes to how you have fun. So the way that you have fun, the way that you relax, the way that you enjoy yourself, something will come up that shows you a certain situation. This could also mean for those Taurians who are single, something in a relationship comes up here. And that becomes very, very clear, and that's very, very real and realistic. But with Jupiter in your sign, it shows that you are very optimistic, whatever comes, right? So it's like whatever comes up, you're good. You're good. And why? Because you believe in yourself. That's a very strong thing. But nevertheless, it could mean, some situation that comes up in the heart chakra, in the love sector, that you have to deal with. And that has to, you could say, and that kind of is integrated also with your goals for the future, with the people that you surround yourself with, the 11th house, that things are becoming very clear for you. Gemini, this is happening in the core of your chart, at the core of your chart, you could say. The 4th house is a very emotional house. So something comes up there. It could be at home, literally, something comes up, literally your home. There could be something that comes up that is very yuck, and that you say, I have to deal with that. Or if it's not that, it's on an emotional level, that you feel those feelings of loneliness, those feelings of coldness, or even towards a parent. This feeling of resentment can come up here. But what helps you is this Jupiter in the 12th house, which is the unconscious, which is also where you rest and where you let go. So the letting go of old patterns, the maybe doing a travel around this time if you can, doing something that relaxes you can help you with going through these emotions. I think for a lot of Geminis, it has to do with the work-life balance for sure, the work-home area. Something can come up there, and you have to look at how you are going to fix that. Something practical can come up that is related to your home, that is related to relatives. Cancer, this is happening in the mind house. This is happening in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is the house of communication. So there could be a communication coming in, or you communicating something very serious to someone else. So, and it has to be done, you know. This is a good moment to do as well, to be very, you know, without too much emotion, but saying how it is, without too much drama, I mean, saying how things are, or someone says that to you. So you can expect communication coming up that is very serious, that is very down to earth, and that is very about something that needs to have some attention. The 3rd house is also the house of your neighbors, of your siblings, of teammates, and so on. So there could be something happening with one of those people, or those people saying it to you. But whatever it is, you're having this Jupiter, which is this help and this optimism in your 11th house. So you definitely have the support of like-minded people, of friends, and of you have a lot of hope for the future. So whatever this information is, that piece of information, that is not something that you did not expect, right? It's a Saturnial thing. It's something that you know of for quite a while, that comes up, and that you're dealing with it, and you're having, so be open for the help of, for the support of your friends, the down-to-earth support that your friends can deliver you, because they are going to help you to tackle this situation. Leos, this is happening in your 2nd house. So something becomes very clear to you when it comes to your finances and when it comes to your self-worth, either one or the other, or both. There's something that bubbles up here about a situation that is how it is. And depending on how you dealt with it in the past, it's for the better or for worse. So it can be, for instance, that your accountant is saying, look, this is not good, what's happening here. This is not good, and you have to do adjustments. And you've got Jupiter at the same time in your 10th house of career. So there is expansion going on in the career that can help you to improve your financial situation. So there's definitely solutions here. So for you, it's a lot more around values as well. If it's not money, it's around your value. Something can come up that you feel that you don't value yourself enough, or that you lack the value of others and how important that is to you, and that the balance is a bit off between the value that you have for something that you're doing, and especially in a relationship, the value that another person has or doesn't have towards you. And it could be like something coming up here and you trying to fix that. Another thing can mean a parent is is helping you out, or there's something positive help coming up with them as well. Jupiter in the 10th. Virgos, the whole introduction is for you, right? The whole introduction is for you. Something comes up here that has to do with you, and that has to do with other people. That is very clear. It's going to be very, very, very clear. So with the moon in the 1st house, normally, people are emotional, you know, and they put their heart on the sleeve, or what is that expression? But with this, it's not going to happen because of the Saturn. So you could be feeling, because of a certain situation, that a lot comes up, a lot of emotions comes up, but you can control it in a way, for better or for worse, but that's the energy that is available. So it's almost like that a lot of emotions can be bubbling up, but you're controlling it for some reason. And you have that trine towards the ninth house, which is your connection with everything, your connection with the divine, your connection with the universe, with God, if you like, with the nature. So you're understanding that this almost, you could say, dimming of the emotion, that this is a good thing. Don't get me wrong here. Don't think that I think that dimming emotions is a good thing. Not at all. I think if you can park your emotions and express them when you want them to express, that's perfection, right? But here it shows that it might not be a good timing to express those emotions. And if you do want to express them, find a way that you can express them with a bit of a higher perspective from Jupiter in the ninth house. So, but again, with that full moon, I also think that people towards you are going to speak their truth. And it's going to be a serious truth and some seriousness. People could be cold towards you with Sun conjunct Saturn, and that could really give you that feeling of not belonging and feeling cold and isolated and hurt. But it's almost as if you know this, coming up, and that you know that when people are cold towards you and you've done everything that you could, what Virgos mostly do, Virgos, they are really trying to do their best. I mean, if a Virgo doesn't want to do their best, I don't know what else they can do. But with that Jupiter trining to the ninth house, they realize that these people who are judging them, you might be judged, or you could have the tendency to judge, but you're not going to do it in some way. And whatever it is, you understand that when people just don't want you, don't like you, whatever it is what it is. It is that kind of flavor. And it's for the best of both, basically. So that's that Jupiter in the ninth house. Some people are here for a season, some people are here for a lifetime. We cannot force these things because it's written in the stars, you could say, or we have those soul contracts that when they're ended, they're ended. But I'm not talking here necessarily about ending. I'm just talking about a cooling down. And the Virgos here amongst you, they need to know that it has nothing to do with you not being good enough or you not doing your best. No, actually it's saying stop doing your best and know that it is what it is. And it's a lot about that. I mean, I love this Jupiter in the ninth house for you because that's giving you so much understanding and so much connection. There might be not so much connection now with a specific person, but even more, there's going to be a connection that you feel with the bigger scale, with God, if you like, which is a bit more non-material, but it's almost like you feel that you are supported, you feel that it is the best thing. Librans, this is happening in your 12th house. Now, when there's something coming up here in the unconscious. This is an opportunity for you, something that was hidden from you in the unconscious, very, very deep, is now coming up. Mostly, this has to do with when people have full moons in their 12th house. This has to do with patterns. This has to do with old patterns that are no longer working for you. Self-destructive patterns, I'm talking about patterns that we're doing that we don't even know why we are doing it, but we're doing it out of survival. We're doing it out of wounding, out of childhood wounding, out of survival mechanisms, you name it. And now you're going to see here, or you have an opportunity to see what this wound is, what this is all about. And it's only, of course, when you see that you can turn it around. Jupiter is in your 8th house, so you could have a lot of support of a specific person, whether that is mental support, emotional support, financial support. You're not alone. That's basically Jupiter in your 8th house. You're also gaining a lot of deep psychological insight because of this situation that is coming up and that you see that was undermining you and you didn't see it before. So it's a lot behind the surface. So a lot of people are not going to know what's going on with the Librans, but you will know even more. And because you know deep down inside, when things shift on a very deep level, things are going to shift outside of you for sure. Scorpios, this is happening in your 11th house. So for you, there's something about a friendship or friendships in plural, or social media, like-minded people, that comes up. So something will come up that you have seen coming, that is serious, and that you're saying that has to do with boundaries, that has to do with the truth in a bit of a harsh way, but it is what it is. So, of course, if you have yourself a social media or you run your own business, this shows here some sort of a waking up call or some sort of a look, this is how it is. But you knew about this and you've got support of another specific person that is very important for you, that is really helping you with Jupiter in your 7th house. So you're not alone in all of this. But it can be harsh, right? When you feel like a friend is not your friend, or the group that you belong, you don't fit in, or you feel that you don't belong. These are not the nicest feelings. But you as a Scorpio in particular, you will understand that this is every now and then this comes up in your life to restore and to kind of know that, yes, although a certain goal will not work, because the 11th house is not just friends, it's also your goals. So maybe your goal will not work out, or a friendship is not working out, but you've got that Jupiter in the 7th house. You've got a specific person, whether you're single or not, that is really, really positive, supportive towards you, and very real. So keep that in mind. Sagittarians, this is work for you. So something will come up that is real. Of course, for those of you who've been working very hard on something when it comes to their career, they will see here the Saturnial manifestation of it. For those of you who have been doing nothing, who have been doing like, this could also be a wake-up call of, oh, you're not getting this promotion, for instance. But it's something that you know. It's not something that you're going to say like, oh, what's going on here? I didn't expect this. No. Now, the good news is that this Jupiter is in your 6th house. So the hope and the encouragement and the positivism might be a new job, might be another job, might be a new plan when it comes to your day-to-day work and how you're going to do it. Maybe in a more efficient way. If you have a business of your own, you could be hiring someone who's going to help you. You know, maybe you are seeing now that the work-life balance is distorted, and with Jupiter in the 6th, you're getting help from someone else and helping you with your administration, for instance, and off you go. So it's mostly related to your work, to your day-to-day life, to your career. If you don't work, it has to do with how you see your role in society. And it could mean like, hey, what is my role here? That you're questioning this, and that you're trying to get better routines, better health routines, better daily routines that's going to help you to improve your health, but also your purpose in life. Jupiter is purpose. And in the 6th house, it's finding purpose in your day-to-day routines. For some others, it could also be a parent. There's something happening, a change happening with a parent, and that has a knock-on effect on you. Something, that becomes very clear, and it has an effect on your own routines, your own health routines, your own routines, how you do your day-to-day work. Capricorns, you are a fellow earth sign. So for you, this is quite a good full moon. This is in your 9th house of the mind. So for you, there's something here that becomes very clear that has to do with your mind. Of course, the third and the ninth house, and certainly the ninth house, is higher studies. So when you are studying, this could be very Saturnal energy, like, hey, this is it. You know, what have you been doing before? And maybe you have been working before quite well, or you thought you were doing it well, but now you're seeing there were some cracks in that. Maybe I have to do this differently. And that is because that exam, for instance, didn't go well. I have to restore it. I have to do it differently. And you're having in the fifth house Jupiter there. So which means that enjoyment and purpose also in enjoying yourself. And it's, of course, all about balance. And it's all about, so for students, it's definitely like the result of what you've did before. Again, if you did hard work, if you did all that you were doing or that you could do, and still, you know, you could do everything and still it's not working out. But with the Jupiter in the fifth, it shows like, hey, there's still enjoyment in life. There's still good things in life. Let's have a look at what we can do from the heart. Maybe this is a study that is not from the heart. For others, this shows that, yes, this is the great study, the good study, but I have to do things differently. For others, I mean, not all of you are students, of course, but for others, this has to do with a mental state. This has to do with you want to speak out your truth, for instance, to other people because you are convinced of something, but you're not going to do this now. And it's best not to do it because of this Saturn energy shows that it is dimming a little bit. So this is about discussions with people who, you know, you can have that. This is my truth. This is your truth. The ninth house is the house of the truth, right? It's the absolute truth. But of course, we all have a perspective. And so it can mean that if you, maybe in work, you need to present something. And so make sure that you're not really putting dogmas there, right? You know, the ninth house with Saturn there, that could be rigid, dogmatic. Don't do that, but have respect for your view, but also for others. If you do that, you can go wrong. If you have respect for other people's communications, and it is easier said than done, because with all of that energy there with the moon, you can really be very emotional almost to say to others what you want to say, but now these emotions are dimmed and you can really make sure that you're speaking from the heart and opening your heart, which is a good thing. Could also mean a travel. There is a travel that you're doing and something becomes clear or something manifests out of that travel. That is really Saturnal. That is really becoming into the 3D world that you've always wanted to do, and very serious now. This is helping you to express yourself, you know, Jupiter in that fifth house. Aquarians, this is happening in your eighth house. So when a full moon happens in your eighth house, the eighth house is a hidden house. It's a deep house. It's a emotional house. And when something becomes clear with all this energy, it could mean that emotions would normally run high, but now there is some sort of a cooling down of that. Now, the eighth house often represents your deep psychological stuff, your shadow. So there could be some shadow coming up here from you or from a person that is very close to you in a connection, in a relationship. But whatever it is, it's like realistic here. Can also have to do with finances, that something real comes up here, depending on what you did in the past, right? So loans, investments that you did with another person, something can become here very clear, maybe for better or for worse. It really depends on your situation, and it's not something that you don't know that is going on, right? Now, Jupiter is in your fourth house, which means that parents, your home is safe, net, and you feel emotionally secure, which is a good thing, because the 8th house is a difficult house to handle because of those shadows, and the battling of it is not always the easiest thing to do. But again, it can come up with a life, death and rebirth. Those themes will come up again. And whether it has to do with inheritances, again, this is something that you already know is going on. There could be things now being spoken out, and it is what it is, right? But with this Jupiter in your 4th house, you feel secure and you feel emotionally okay. That's basically in a nutshell. So, of course, Aquarians, with all that energy that they're having with Pluto entering in the sign and so on, it is already a time for Aquarians for that authenticity, that realness, that soul energy that is really waking up for all the Aquarians. And of course, for all of us, but specifically for the early born Aquarians. So, deep stuff for sure, but there's also hope, and you being your own parent, basically, with Jupiter in your 4th house, which is nice. And Pisceans, for you, it's relationships. So love relationships, whether you are in one or not, something is coming up here. And for better or for worse, it really depends on your situation and how you treated someone and how they treated you. If you are in a relationship, this can now come up very clearly. And if you're not in a relationship, something can be shown here of a specific person. Maybe you had an eye on someone or whatnot, and this is becoming now very clear what it is. So Saturn is not messing around. It's not like, yeah, we're like this, or we are friends with benefits, or we are no. It's clear. It's clear. And accept that and embrace that. Now, Jupiter is in your 3rd house, which means that communication is hopeful and true and raw and real. And that's going to help you with this. So Jupiter in the 3rd could also mean a trip that you're going to do with that specific person. Or if you're single, you're going to do a trip so that you have some perspective. It can be a short trip, and or something that you're going to learn, or a course or something that you're going to pick up. So that gives you that hope and optimism. It's also the 3rd house, your communication, your PR work. If you have a business of your own, this could really, really expand. So a certain situation with a business partner, for instance, could also be very clear. It's black or it's white. It's not gray. And because that clarity, you can communicate things better, whether it comes to, your website that you're going to expand or whatnot. There is a lot of PR energy available here. But reality kicks in for sure. The sun is in your house. You have Saturn there. It also has to do with boundaries. The moon in the 7th house shows definitely a person is going to show themselves with their emotions, but they're going to say it really cool there, because it opposes that Saturn. So listen carefully, and also communicate very positively towards others and also in your own head. And if you're doing that, you really can't go wrong. Yes, some relationships that you were, or if you were in a relationship, this is, again, don't forget this is not energy of out of the blue. This is energy I know. So, dear Piscean, if you know that you have a relationship that is really not going well, that is really crossing boundaries every single time, then this can mean like, we're going to stop this, right? Which is a good thing. Anyway, having said that, thank you so much for listening. Share, subscribe, comment if you like, of course. And I hope you will have the best full moon in Virgo. Bye-bye.